Thank you, Sam. Okay, so we can start. We are going for 25 minutes guide session, and we can start. Usually, we start by just closing our eyes, partially or completely, just so we can limit visual stimuli. This is a voyage within, and we are switching from being visual dominant to feeling dominant. So closing our eyes is supportive to the practice. We direct our attention to breathing sensations. And we are aiming for the direct experience of breathing sensations in the body. The way our body experiences the breathing. We could observe breathing sensations in the belly, noticing that our belly expands on the inhaling breath, and noticing the belly deflating back towards the spine on the exhaling breath. While tuning in or connecting with our breathing sensations, we also quickly check in with our body posture. Our body posture should be supportive to the practice. Two basic principles: straightfulness and stillness. Straightfulness from a perspective of keeping our back as straight as possible, just so we can support the breathing muscles. And stillness from a perspective of the body position we take is relaxing enough so we can stay still throughout the practice. So whether lying down or sitting, we always remind ourselves that the body posture is supportive to practice. While we are observing the breathing sensations, we're also noticing that we are entering into our space of awareness. So in a way, focusing on breathing sensations represent the doorway in the present moment, metaphorically speaking, and also a doorway into the space of awareness. So as we focus our attention on our abdomen area, we're also noticing that our space of awareness starts broadening up. So we are becoming more aware of our inner and our outer surroundings. We become a little bit more aware of the sounds in the environment, other body sensations, our emotional states, and we become aware of a natural process that is happening at all times. And that is that our mind is always paying attention to something, but also shifts attention frequently. So, two natural processes we are observing in the present moment, one being our breathing sensations, and becoming aware every time our mind shifts attention to something else. Now, when we notice that our mind shifts attention to something else within our space of awareness, the instructions are always the same. As soon as we notice that our mind has shifted attention, and usually we are becoming aware immediately as it does. We take a note of what that is, and the very same moment we're taking a note, we're also letting go. Metaphor useful for this experience, it is like drawing on the water. So as the thought comes up, we recognize what the thought is about, and the very same moment we're letting go. Similarly to when we draw on the water, as we start drawing, the image is already dispersing. So in mindfulness practice, we use this numerous times, or we could even say thousands of times. We emphasize mindfulness cycle. Our attention is focused on breathing sensations, and once we notice that our mind shifts attention to something else, gently, calmly, befriending oneself for the experience, we let go, shifting attention back to breathing sensations. Mindfulness is the awareness that arises when we intentionally place attention on our breathing sensations. So, whether we are focused on a breath and we are aware of that, or we are not focused on a breath, but we are also aware of that, we are mindful. So, principle of non-striving. We're not looking for any specific outcome, neither we are trying to make sense or figure things out. But also importantly, we are not trying to prevent things from coming up, to suppress our thinking, or avoid any of the experience that might surface up within our space awareness. We meet the present moment as it is without trying to remove anything from the experience. But we do so with compassion, acceptance, with kindness, kindness towards ourselves, and kindness towards the experience and the experiencer. So, our breathing as a supporting object, as referred to in mindfulness, is actually a vehicle to increase calmness and awareness. Every time we focus our attention on breathing sensations, and more so on the exhaling breath, we are activating a natural neurophysiological connection in our body. Our exhaling breath is linked to the vagus nerve. And what that means for us, every time we breathe out more mindfully, more truly, we are activating relaxation response in our body. We can experience that when we breathe out just a little bit slower than usual and a little bit longer than usual. We can experience the feedback from the body, and it feels not just releasing the air, but also releasing tensions in the body. Breathing out a little bit slower than usual, a little bit longer than usual. And if we notice that our mind has shifted attention to something else, awareness with acceptance and kindness, meaning we recognize what it is and we let go, shifting attention back to breathing sensations, using the exhaling breath as an anchor into relaxation, anchor into peacefulness, simply because once we are relaxed, naturally we relate to things more calmly. Once we're relaxed, naturally our mood bounce back to positive. In research, we call that relaxation uplift. Breathing in, experiencing the abdomen expanding. Breathing out, experiencing abdomen deflating back. The key is in relaxation. For relaxation in the approach to practice. We are not trying to work hard to stay focused on a breath. That will create only tensions. We remember and remind ourselves the virtue of keeping our attention on the breathing sensations is by letting go. And yet, sometimes our mind resists to let go. But again, instead of being hard on ourselves, we rather be compassionate. We understand that that's a natural way of our mind working. and we let go. We roll without resistance. That is why we said sometimes throughout the practice, we go through a mindfulness cycle thousands of times. And every time we let it go, it's an increment in practice. Every time we shift our attention from something that is predominant to breathing sensations, from relaxation theory, we are breaking up the habitual way of thinking and the habitual way of relating, but also from neuroscience. We know that we are shifting our mind from being engaged in one network to another, breathing in, knowing that we are breathing in, experiencing the inhaling breath through the movement in the belly, breathing out, knowing that we are breathing out by experiencing the movement in the belly. The emphasis is on simplicity, focusing attention on breathing sensations, noticing when mind wanders off, and just gently, calmly letting go, shifting attention back to breathing sensations. Nothing to avoid, nothing to strive for or make sense, nothing to figure out. Using breathing as a vehicle to tap into the present moment, to increase awareness, and calmness. With the next available exhaling breath, we can allow ourselves to move, maybe introduce stretching and open eyes when ready. Okay,